The following is a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. The date is March 16th, 2021, and the subject is the emotional aspect of the solar plexus in the sign of Pisces. Me. Love the world for what it is and not for what I hope it is. I understand that waiting for something to be implies expectation. Precisely what makes us always live in a world of utopias and not manifest it here and now. But if I love the world as it is, what is the point of its transformation? I am. Does loving a baby stop you from planning for their future? Does wanting to see spring flowers make you hate plants in the rest of the seasons? Does accepting a couple as they are today doesn't allow you to make plans to live together? Travel together, create a family? Me. I get the point. The issue is believing that working for a better future means not accepting today's chaotic world, when in reality it's the other way around. Accepting the world as it is, without denying it, is what awakens the love to help it transform. I am. When you hold a baby's hands to take his first steps, you don't highlight his inability to walk, but his willingness to move forward. When a baby cries, you don't complain saying that you would prefer that he always be happy, but you are willing to help him because crying is the only way he knows to communicate. Accepting the world as it is, with its tears, pain, and disabilities, is like accepting that baby who is growing, learning about the world and about himself. And you are there, knowing what he is capable of, guiding him to discover it without denying what it is. Me. Oh, I really understand now. It's just that as humans we tend to complain about the things we don't like, seeking to improve them, leaving the bad behind, without understanding that what we are today is part of the process to be what we will be tomorrow. I am. To cross a threshold towards tomorrow, it is necessary to recognize the yesterday from which you come. To go to the light, you need to recognize your shadows. The being is in the middle of all this, in the middle of all the processes. The being is the eternal articulation between each step, each system, each process that you live. Therefore, I do not ask you to love war or famine, betrayal, corruption, despair, ignorance, and unconscience, but to love the being who is experiencing them. Me. Every person I know is living a unique moment of this being, who develops step by step. Each individual, creature, living being, and even that which is inorganic, goes through various processes, all so different that we see it as chaotic, and so diverse that they even seem opposite. This is how we consider the conflict, not wanting to face what we are today, wanting to find a better version of what we will be. I am. And by doing this, all you do is underestimate the steps that lead to a destination of clarity and success. That best version could never be a version without first having gone through the incessant practice of diversity. As you may know, the verb to be is one of the most complex, especially in Spanish, but also in most languages. In Latin languages, the origin of the verb arises from the Indo-European es, which describes the idea of being. Another Indo-European word gave rise to the verb to be in the Saxonian, Slavic, and Nordic languages, which is beu, B-H-E-U-E, meaning to exist. That is, to be outside. This verb describes all the positions of an individual in time and space, not describing the process or instance that he lives, but remembering that it is only a step through the time-space constants. For this, the being can only refer to the here and now, being that here is any place and the now is any moment. Me. Saying I am here and now then does not speak of the present, but of the full acceptance of the stage in which I find myself, an eternal stage in constant transformation. I am. And since this is a constant of the verb to be, you will understand that everything that exists, what is in a place or moment, are only aspects of the same concept. An example: if you place all your family, friends, couples, pets, with their different ages and shapes, in a large space, you will see that each one occupies a place in the space constant and an instant in the time constant. It is to say that each one is an aspect of the verb to be. Me, indicating that beyond the differences, we are all one. I am. That's right. Each individual, each being, is an aspect of the eternal constant of existence, a single being that is diversely expressed in thousands of versions of the universe. Me, versing about himself, like a mirror. I am. As you well know, to verse is to turn on itself, bend, to create a fold in the constant, a fold of self-reference, self-observation. The universe is the unity to which all versions return, that is, everything expanded returns to itself, towards the source. And each version was fractalized, multiplying itself in several ways, at least two, called diverse. The diversity of the being, then, is the number of times that the same individual can be fractalized in different times and spaces. Me, being every person and entity I meet, a version of myself. I am. And it is there that you see that the conditionings that control the idiosyncrasy of each one are nothing more than choices of processes, of experiences that make up the great being that you are. Me. And there I discover unconditionality, because I see myself beyond the conditions of the ego, of the personality, understanding myself as a simple version of myself. I am. You discover that by being everything, you must accept everything. Two things happen here. From unconsciousness, you feel trapped in a magnanimous existence from which you cannot escape, of being an inevitable part of others. And from consciousness, you find the freedom to know that you are everything, and that everything that happens to you, you owe it to yourself, without guilt, without enemies, without unique loves. You recognize that everything goes beyond appearances because everything that exists is, and everything that is eternal, and you are, therefore, you are eternal. Me. That's why I can love everyone equally. That's why in this emotional consciousness, I can be others, I can feel others as part of me, as a unit that I am, and no longer as the others, but as me myself. It is when I feel a full love, a love that is not born from service to the other, but from the connection with others, from the essence. I am. Essence. The capacity or attribute of being. The essence of things is what describes the main attribute of existence, which recognizes that all organic and inorganic forms are essentially part of the universal being. Me, and the void unites us, that is, the possibility of being. I am. To be or not to be, that is the question, from Shakespeare. Being is a choice, the choice that conditions your existence. In the not being, in the void, you are nothing, but you are the power, the dream of what you will be. YOSOY.RED, meaning search, is the origin of the word question. The action of seeking to be is what activates the will to make the unmanifested become manifest. It is the will to search, to wonder, to leave where one is walking towards another state of consciousness, towards another reality. And the more I find, the more I become, building thousands of beings, thousands of moments, of capacities and attributes of being. Everything for the search, for the question of being or not being. You decide what you are, what you decide to be, and what you decide not to be, what you want to become. The choice is free, but once you've made it, You must live it. Thus, this existence that you experience is not your freedom to be, but the result of your choice. And the people with whom you inhabit what you are your reflections of what you seek to incorporate and transcend. Me, so I don't have the freedom to be in the matter. I am. You do not have the freedom from the personality. When you cling to what you think you are, when you say, this is me, but this is not me, you are limiting, conditioning your own expansive essence. And this leads you to be a prisoner of your own choices. A free being is everything, without any limitation, because he understands that each being, each experience, is nothing more than an inflection in the path of existence. Be is the first verb of the cosmos, the most used, the most varied. I am is the first verse versed in the diversity of the universe, the poetry of existence. Me, I am you and you are me. Who am I? I am. I recognize that we are all one, that the path of the being does not exist in the separation. We are all one, and that is the only reason. I am. In the nothing irradiates a song. It resonates in everything like the beating of a heart, inviting its parts to extend the heavens, singing the song of convergence. In the question he found an answer. In the origin he found the end. Nothingness lives in existence, universal reality in the emptiness. I am, the everything said to itself, and on its way her voice resounded, traversing space and time, its irradiating enamored all beings. How beautiful it is to find oneself through this song, that vibrates high when recognizing each heart. The ego found silence, the mind awakened its feeling, the body became an idea, and the soul an elixir. I see my eyes in the brightness of his eyes, in the mirrors that I have to expand. And in love, I remember them to the sound of my reflection. I sing like this the verses that I will have to connect, a song of infinite beating that must vibrate in all. I am on the eternal path, and in my steps it sounds, I am, I am, I am.